Welcome to the College Football Bros. I'm Michael Newman.
I'm Ryan Newman.
And I'm Trey Newman.
On today's episode, we're going to discuss 9 of the biggest winners of the 2022 recruiting cycle. Be sure to subscribe because we're also dropping on the feed a video about the 9 biggest losers of the cycle. Also, let us know in the comments below any winners that we left off, because these are not necessarily the top 9, just 9 that kind of stood out to us, but there are certainly more. Trey, why don't you get us started with our first winner?
Yeah, I'm going to start out with Notre Dame. Notre Dame having a top class, of course, isn't completely unique, but doing it in a transition year while losing Brian Kelly is impressive. Obviously, it speaks to the recruiting ability of Marcus Freeman, players still wanting to come play for him. But what's also making Notre Dame a winner here is it's their highest rated class since 2013. They're sitting at number 7 right now. They got a 5-star linebacker from South Carolina. And I also like how most of their highly rated signees are either on the line or at linebacker. And obviously, it's also extremely early, but looking ahead to 2023, they have the number 2 class with 8 commits, and they're all 4 and 5 stars. So the future is looking bright there. And with classes like this, you'd have to think Freeman could certainly get Notre Dame a step closer to being more competitive in those playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. Classes like these could be the difference between getting blown out and, competing in the playoffs. So that is, the future's bright there. My next winner is Penn State. On the field, of course, they've had 2 straight down years now, but the one thing when you're not winning as much as you'd like to that can keep the fan base at least somewhat happy is if you crush it on the recruiting trail. And that's what James Franklin did. They got the 6th ranked class in the 24/7 Sports composite rankings, and they especially got help on offense, which is where, of course, they've really needed it the past few years. They got a 5-star quarterback, Drew Aller, 5-star running back, Nicholas Singleton, a few 4-star receivers, a couple of 4-star tackles. So hopefully that side of the ball in the coming years will be, better than what we've seen, with Sean Clifford and company.
Yep. Well, Franklin needed the bounce back, and he got it. All right, moving on to my first one. It's the number 1 overall, the best class like ever, not just in Aggie land, but Texas A&M here. Just an amazingly good class. They had finished 4th, 6th, and 8th the previous 3 years, so they had been on a good roll here. But number 1's a different animal. That just sets you up for like legit national title aspirations. And their biggest win for me was along the D line. They got 5 players ranked inside the top overall 100, including a couple edge rushers. So, that's just how important that is in the college football world. If you get guys along that D line, you can hold up against the Alabama offenses of the world. So, some good offensive talent too. Just an amazingly great poll for them.
They got every position. There's
yeah,
no
I could say anything,
class.
but
They're stacked.
yeah.
North Carolina is my second winner. Mac Brown, since going back there, he's been recruiting well, but he took a step up this year. They landed the best ACC class, actually ahead of Clemson. They're at number 10 now, and they did so with the fewest commits in the top 10. They only brought in 17, so got a little more quality over quantity. They got 2 5-stars, the number 1 overall offensive tackle, the number 5 defensive lineman, and they really hit the state of Virginia hard in this cycle. And, on the field, Mac, he needs a bounce-back 22 season just because they didn't look so great. But now with the top ACC class parlayed with some solid classes in years past, he's not going to have many excuses to succeed or at least be relevant in the ACC.
Yep. Next winner here, Missouri, out of the SEC. So let me read you Missouri's class rankings starting in 2016. They were 43rd, 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 and 37th. So not great. And then Eli Drinkwitz was hired, had a transition class that was 50th. You can hardly count that. But then 2021, they finished 27th. Big step up. I was like, wow, okay, he's upgrading the talent there. This year, 14th. And they did it with a relatively small class, too. It's not like they just stacked on 28 guys and somehow finished high. No, they got quality players. They got the number 3 player in the country, Luther Burden, a wide receiver. Just a really good class. So on the field hasn't, been all that great under Drinkwitz so far, but you'd think it's going to get better.
Yeah, at least it hasn't been bad. Like it's been fine, but now you can put in some real talent. we'll see. All right, I'm going to stick in the SEC East. I'm going to take Kentucky, a team that finished just in front of Missouri. They finished 13th overall class here. It's the first time Kentucky's ever finished in the top 5 of SEC recruiting rankings, and they actually finished 4th this year. So, but just by comparison, last year they were 12th. So a big jump there for Mark Stoops' squad. The headliner is a 4-star offensive tackle, 37th overall player, Keonta Goodwin from Indiana. Just a huge get for them. And then they also got another 4-star offensive tackle and a couple 4-star receivers. So, hey, maybe they're going to start being maybe a little more potent on offense here. But, hey, for Stoops, man, he's just been slowly building that program, and now he's actually going to recruit like this. I'm interested to see if he can, take it to the next step. He's done a good job making them bowl games every year, but can he, compete for real in the SEC? Maybe. We'll see.
All right, I'm going to head out west, and I'm going to say Stanford is a winner. They are at number 17 in terms of the recruiting ranking class. Number 1 Pac-12 class. Now, I know it's a bit skewed because USC and Oregon took smaller classes and they had higher average star ratings. But either way, they had an upper quarter, if you will, ranked class in the Pac-12, and it's just surprising because on the field they were 3-9 last year. They were an extremely fortunate 4-2 in the COVID year. Could have easily gone 0-6 if you look at their schedule. They were 4-8 the year before that. David Shaw, it's just been kind of slowly dissipating each year, not looking so great. And last year's recruiting class was 43rd. They haven't had a recruiting class this high since 2017, and that was after a run of 10-win seasons, getting to Rose Bowls. They hauled in 7 4-stars, typical Stanford fashion, mostly along the line, and a running back. I'm not saying Stanford is back, but this at least could help them rise back from the dead.
Yeah, the early signing period had been bad for them, but seems like they've adjusted, at least based on this year.
Yeah.
My final winner is staying in the Pac-12, Arizona, a program that has had nothing good happen the last few years, it seems like, especially on the field. But I'm kind of starting to buy into Jed Fish after the talent he's brought in this offseason in the transfer portal as well, and just with high school recruits. Their class ranked 24th in the 24/7 Sports rankings. They got 5 4-stars, some really good offensive skill players. So their, I would think, likely starter Jaden DeLora is going to have some pieces to work with, and finally some good things happening for Arizona.
Yeah, that was impressive for Jed Fish, no doubt. All right, let's move on to my last winner. I got the Hoosiers, Indiana, 21st overall rated class. It's by far the best class they've had since the recruiting services kind of came into play. And they somehow managed to do it, even just going 2-10 this past year. Obviously had a lot of injuries, but that's a pretty rough year. They did land an in-city player as their top guy, Dasan McCullough. We'll see if he can stay a Hoosier. His dad went as a coach. I think, Michael, you were mentioning this. Went to Notre Dame.
But his sons say they're going to stay at Indiana, but
yeah,
we'll see.
That's a big time get for them. Top 100 player overall. So hopefully he'll be an impact player for them. But they're also bringing in 4-star corner from Florida, Travell Mullen. He's the younger brother of a current defensive back on the Hoosiers, a great player, Taiwan Mullen. So, yeah, it's a great player for them. They got or a great class for them, and they hit Florida hard. Seven players from the Sunshine State. So, great job from Tom Allen, somehow parlaying a terrible season into a good recruiting class.
There you have it. All right. Well, thanks for watching this episode of the College Football Bros. Give the video a like and subscribe, because we've got college football content all year round, including, like I mentioned, The Biggest Losers, which will be our next episode. So we'll see you next time.
You've been watching the College Football Bros. Be sure to subscribe here on YouTube and in your podcast app for college football content all year round. For bonus episodes and access to our Discord chat, join our Patreon at patreon.com/collegefootballbros. Thanks for watching.